This video looks at the recording of blood pressure measurements by non-clinical staff, and it's going to show you 4 things. Firstly, a simple template that we've created to make it easy for you to record a blood pressure reading, which uses default free text associated with the BP code to make this easy to find with a search. Secondly, how you can import this template into your EMIS system to save you having to create it yourself. Thirdly, how you can create a mini protocol that you can use on your F12 protocol launcher in EMIS to access the new template. And lastly, how you can find patients who have this particular code recorded by running a simple report and exporting it to Excel. We can share a report with you, which you can import into your EMIS system, and this will save you having to create the search yourselves. So firstly, let's take a look at the template in use. I've saved it to my F12 protocol launcher, so when I select F12, I can pick it from my list to trigger the template. If you have an active patient, then a consultation will open up for that patient automatically if you're not already in one. If you don't have an active patient, EMIS will present you with the Find Patient dialog box. Add the appropriate date, healthcare professional or place to the configuration dialog box. So this should default to your name, but if it doesn't, you can find it here. Pick the consultation type, for example, face-to-face consultation or GP surgery. What you put in these fields will be decisions that you need to agree with your practice. The consultation opens up, displaying this template. As you can see, it's a single coded entry for blood pressure. The BP code being used here, for your information, is on examination blood pressure reading, and the SNOMED concept and description ID codes are displayed here. It has some free text included by default to indicate that this recording was taken by a non-clinical member of staff. It's really important that you don't change this text, as this is what we're going to use later to distinguish between BP recordings taken by yourselves as non-clinical staff members and other BP recordings, for example those taken by the patients in the waiting room on a blood pressure machine or by other clinicians. So all you need to do is put in the BP reading and save the consultation. Just to demonstrate the stored code, if we look in care history, you can see the code with the associated text here. When the codes have been recorded, it will be the responsibility of a clinician to review them. It might be the case in your practice that your clinicians mark the entry in some way to show that it has been checked. One way of doing this is for the clinician to open the consultation and edit the free text that's linked to the code to add text that indicates it's been checked. This could be as simple as just adding the word checked to the end of the text. Marking the entries in this way not only creates a solid record to show that a review has been done, but it also makes it easier to search and report on entries that have not yet been checked. This will be covered later in this video. You can create these mini templates very easily, but to save you time, we have one that you can import into EMIS. Please note, however, that the template we're sharing was created on an EMIS system that didn't have Resource Publisher active, and some practices may have problems importing the template. If you do, please contact EMIS support, or if you have someone at your practice who can create templates, this is actually a very simple and easy one to do. So show them the video and they'll be able to reproduce it very easily. If you opt to use the template we've created, you'll be sent a file as an attachment to an email. You need to save that file into a folder that's accessible to you when you're using EMIS. Once it's saved, go into EMIS, go to Configuration, Template Manager, find or create the folder that you want to import it into, and once that's created and selected, click on Import on the ribbon. You then need to browse to the file that you've saved, and once selected, it'll appear in your folders. Once you've saved the template on EMIS and tested that it works okay, follow these simple instructions to create a mini protocol. Don't worry if you've never created a protocol before, this is literally a 2-minute job. Access Configuration and Template Manager. Select or create a folder into which you'll create the new protocol. Either right-click on the folder or use the Add drop-down in the ribbon and select Protocol. You'll see the empty protocol builder page with a Start node displayed. Select the Action Nodes section in the bottom left, find Launch Template, and drag and drop it onto the building space. This will automatically open the template picker, and you need to find the template that you've recently imported. Once you've selected that, it'll appear as a launch template element on your building space. Go back to the Decision Nodes section on the left, drag and drop the end protocol item into the building space just below the launch template node somewhere. And that's the different elements that we need. We now just need to link them together so EMIS knows what order to perform each of the elements in. So point to the start node and hold the mouse down. Drag the mouse to the red bar in the launch template node. You'll see it creates a line as you do this, so drop it when you're over the red bar. This is just saying when I start this protocol, I want you to launch this template. Then we need to tell EMIS what it should do after the template has been used, or if the user decides not to use it after it's been launched. So hold the right mouse button down over the completed arrow and drag this to the end node, and it'll draw a line as you do. Then do the same from the cancelled arrow, and that's it. Save and close, giving your protocol a suitable name. Now open your protocol launcher by pressing the F12 key. Select an appropriate line label to add this template onto. I'll choose G. Right-click that line and select Add, and you'll be in the protocol picker. Find the protocol that you've just created and select it, and from now on, when you want to use that template, you can press F12 on your keyboard and then select the line label that you've assigned to this template, and it will trigger it as we saw at the beginning of this video. Remember that the F12 protocol launcher is a user-specific function, so everyone will need to add the protocol to their own F12 list in order to use it in this way. In a similar way to the way you imported the template, you can be sent a report as an attachment to an email, and you'll need to save this to a file location that you can get to when you're accessing EMIS. Once it's saved, go to the EMIS ball and select Reporting and then Population Reporting. Find the folder that you want to save the report into, or create one if you need to. With the folder selected, select Import from the ribbon and the Inquiry Document Import dialog box will appear. Click on the search button to the right of the Inquiry Document field and find your file. Once selected, you should see the search and report display like this in the left-hand panel with the details displayed here. Click on OK. The search and its report will now be displayed in your folder. To run the report, either right-click on it and select Run, or select Run from the ribbon. You'll then be prompted to add in the date range that you wish to search on. Here, you can pick, for example, start and end dates for a range. You can ask it to search on a number of days, weeks, or months before or after the search date. Or, as another example, you can search for this, next, or last week, month, quarter, year, or fiscal year. One thing to be particularly careful about when configuring this date box is ensuring that you select the correct option in this drop-down. As an example, if you select after and then pick the date the 1st of May, you'll get results for the 2nd of May onwards. If you select after or on the 1st of May, you'll include the 1st of May in your search. So at the bottom of this dialog box, a summary of your configuration is always displayed. So read this before you press OK to ensure that the search is going to find data from the exact date range that you're wanting. Both the search and the report will be queued to run. The last run date for both should be today's date once the run has finished. Obviously, it's important that the search is run afresh whenever you produce the report, so you're ensuring that your reporting is always on the most up-to-date set of data. When your search has been run and your report has been created from it, you can view the results using this ribbon option. You can see the list of entries with the free text, only some of which relate to the blood pressures having been recorded by non-clinical staff, which are the ones that we want to find. Now, depending on how many patients your search has found, you may find it easy to just count them from these pages. Note that there could be multiple pages, which you move through down here. Alternatively, you can print out your report with this option and then count them manually. But if there's a lot of data, it's actually quite easy to export your report to Excel and order the content in the Excel spreadsheet to quickly get to the total number of these entries. To do this, from this page where you're viewing the results, select Export from the ribbon. Excel will normally be selected by default here, and you can exclude this header section if you want to. And you can override hidden patients if that's appropriate and you have the appropriate permissions. Leave the rest and select OK. You then need to select where you're going to save your Excel file, and then you can leave EMIS and open up your Excel spreadsheet. So this can be used to look for how many blood pressure readings have been taken by non-clinical staff in the first place, and it can also be used to look at how many have been taken but have not been recorded as having been checked. So now we're in Excel. I'll talk you through a very simple way to sort the data on the spreadsheet. Just remember that there are lots of different ways to use Excel for this sort of thing. I'm going to show you just one option. This spreadsheet is a mock-up of what you'll see in an exported file. So things like the date format might be different, for example, but the process is the same. As we're only looking at the number of codes, I'm going to get rid of the headers. I'm then going to sort the data so that all the entries with this associated text are together by organising the entries by alphabetical order of the content in this column. To do this, click on Sort in the ribbon. We're wanting to sort based on column D, and I'll leave it to sort on alphabetical order. This groups the codes so that all the ones with the similar text are grouped together. If the clinicians in your practice are marking the codes as being checked by adding that text to the entries when they review them, then you'll be able to distinguish between codes that were recorded and have been checked and those that haven't been checked. To count your number of entries, simply highlight the entries that you want, and the total number of entries highlighted will be displayed as the count. There are lots more options in Excel, like filtering, conditional formatting, and adding count markers, but this is just one simple way to get to this data. So that's the process in a nutshell. I hope this has been useful. Thank you.